Okay, so here is chapter 5.4, exercise 2. So as I've mentioned before, now this time here's the context of the scenario. We're just going to make a whole bunch of purchases, and then at the end of the month, or I guess in this case it's the end of June 15, you should have 500 units left on hand. So as I have mentioned before, to save you some time and some, extra things here, all I want you to do is just practice entering in the formula and practice solving for the table. So I've already pre-filled everything in for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and enter it in. So on June 1st, right, I made a purchase of 1,250 items at $1.08. So what is my total purchase price here? $13.50, okay? Good. So then what is going to be my total cost here? $1,400 even? 14. Let's try that again. So $13.50 plus 150.
Oh, let me try this again. Yeah. Did I mess up?
50 plus 50 gives you, round up to 1,400 plus 100. It's going to give you 1,500. It's 1,500. So remember, we're going to...
I went over quantity. My fault. I got to do my formula again.
Okay. All right. So we got 1,350 plus 150 to get 1,500. Okay. So what's my cost per item going to be?
$1.20.
So we're going to take my 1,500 and divide it by my 1,250 to get $1.20. Okay, is that even? In this case, yes, it is. So these scenarios, there could be a possibility of having a number that is that does not divide evenly. Okay, so now scenario 2, here on June 5th, we purchased 850 units at $1.10 each. So what is my total purchase price here? $9.35, okay. And then plus $100 worth of freight. $1,035. So now what is going to be my cost per item?
1.2176.
1.2. Okay, so now I'm going to pull down this right here, and I'm going to... So this is where I'm going to show you how to calculate this when we're dealing with numbers that are not even, okay? But let's go ahead and go on forth and finish up this section here. So, all right. So for this context, I'm not going to round to the nearest penny just yet. I'm going to wait till the very end, all right? Because if I have to individually calculate this cost per item, I'm going to show you exactly how I want it done. But in this case, let's just go ahead and move on forth. What about the third scenario here? So on June 8th, I decided to buy 700 units at $1.09. What's my total purchase price here? $763. All right. I got $85 worth of freight, so we're going to add those two together. And what do we get for our total cost? $848. Okay, so now I'm going to calculate my cost per item. So 848 divided by 700. What should I get?
I have 121.
121 for yada, yada, yada. Okay. All right, let's see what happened next. On June 10th, I made a purchase of 1,600 units at $1.12. What is going to be my purchase price here?
$1,792.
Good. Plus my $200,
$19.92.
$19.92. All right. And then lastly, what is my cost per item going to be? $1.2450. Good. So this is a dangerous one because we have half a penny. Okay. All right. So now what about this scenario here on June 12th? I purchased 600 units at $1.20. What's my purchase price here? $7.20 plus an additional $70.
$13,790.
Yeah. All right. Bringing my cost per item to be
1.3167.
okay, 1.367. Good. Last but not least, on June 14th, I made a purchase of 1,200 units at $1.25. So what is my purchase price here?
$1,500.
$1,500. All right. Plus my freight of 150. $16.50. All right. So then again, bringing my cost per item to be $1.37.50. Okay. So now that I have my numbers here, let's go ahead and calculate and sum up our totals. So what is the total quantity I have?
6,200.
6,200, so equals sum. $6,200 items, okay? What is my total purchase price?
7,060.
$7,060. Okay? And then what about my total freight?
755.
$755. And then lastly, what's my total cost going to be?
7,815.
$7,815. Okay? Good. So now let's plug in our numbers here. How much was my total quantity that I purchased?
6,200.
6,200 at what cost?
17,815.
That's
Yeah,
including freight.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so just purchases.
7,060.
Good. Here in this scenario, we have no returns or allowances. So in this case, we should get the same exact number here for the subtotal. Okay. Freight adds no quantity, but it adds cost. So how much was my freight?
$755.
$755. So my net purchases is going to be a total of 6,200 items, costing me a total of my 7,815. Okay. All right. So once again, we don't have any beginning inventory for this scenario. So I'm going to pull down the information for my net purchases. Okay. And if I add those two together, right, I'm just going to end up with the same numbers because I'm adding 0 to it. So therefore, my total goods available is going to be whatever my net purchases was for. Okay. Ending balance. So in my scenario, how much should I have in my ending balance? 500. Sorry, excuse me. I have 500 units left. Okay, ending balance. 500 units left. So let's go ahead and figure this out. So if I have a total of 6,200 and I only have 500 left,
5,700.
we sold 5,000.
The net purchase is just the net purchase from up on top from.
Correct. I just cell referenced and copied it down. That's all. That's it. It's not a formula. It's just I cell referenced it. I pulled that information down here.
The same thing with the 7815.
Correct. It's a cell reference.
Okay, and then the goods available was.
The 0, because the goods available, the formula for that is beginning plus your net purchases. So it'd be 0 plus my net purchases, which gives me my goods available of the 6,200. Same thing on the other side.
Goods available was what was the equation again?
It's going to be your beginning plus your net purchases. So beginning inventory plus net purchases. Okay. Make sure that if you're stuck, use these little parentheses on the side. That will kind of give you context of what to do. Okay, so here, my beginning inventory plus my net purchases equals my goods available, right? Right? So now I have my goods available. If I subtract my ending inventory, that should give me my cost of goods sold. So goods available, subtract ending inventory should equal my cost of goods sold. So in this case, that's exactly what I did. I took my 6,200, I subtracted 500 to get me a grand total of 5,700 items sold. Okay. All right. So I'm going to practice utilizing the Lifo method once again. I'm going to add up my columns. I'm going to make this a little bigger. So add up my columns so I have a running balance. Okay. So here in context of Lifo, which batch am I going to start from first?
The last one.
The last one of the 1,200. Okay. Are we going to use some of it or all of it?
All of it.
All of it. So in this case, I'm just going to use this as a cell reference, okay? Oh, right, sorry. And this is because I have too many decimal points. All right, so 1650 is what I got here, all right? So I got rid of this batch right here, right? So which batch am I gonna dip into next?
The 12th.
The 12th, which is how many units?
600.
Am I gonna use, we're gonna use all of it, good. Okay, and it's for this 1367, which should give me a total of the 790 because I'm using all of it. I'm getting rid of the entire batch. There's no point to really calculate it. You already know what the total is. All right. What else? Do I need to keep going?
Yes.
Yes. So in this case, I'm going to keep going. So am I going to, so which batch am I going to take?
The 10th, the whole thing.
Whole thing. All right. Okay. Keep going. So what else, which other batch am I going to dip into now?
The 8th.
The 8th. Some or all?
All.
We're going to take all 700 items. Okay. Oh. Which is going to cost me this much. All right, and I'm going to highlight this because, oop, I'm going to say I'm going to get rid of this. Okay. So now, right now, I've, where's my formula here? So I have 4,100. How many more do I need to keep going? Sorry, I was I was saying two questions at one time. I have
You need 1,600 more. So the next and the next one you would go after would be 6.5 for the 850.
the whole thing. Perfect. Whole thing for the 850. Okay. Right. We're going to get rid of the whole thing. So therefore, all right, so now how many more do we need to sell? Okay. You could do your quick math right here, right? You could say if I need to reach 5,700 and I only have 950, how many more do I need to get?
750.
750. There you go. Boom. There my number matches. 750. Now I only have one batch left. So it's kind of obvious, right? Are we going to sell it? Are we going to use all of it or we use some of it?
Just some.
Some. So now we need to calculate it per item. In this case, it's $1.20. Okay? So I'm going to show you this in case you do have numbers that are going to be that doesn't go in evenly. So this is where I'm going to introduce you guys the equal round formula. Okay? So here it is. In context, the formula is going to be equal round. Okay? So that means when I do a calculation, it's going to round it to the as many decimal points that I set it as. So for this example, right, if I were to take this and I enter in my equation, which is 700, multiply by the $1.20. I'm going to end my argument with a comma, right? And now the second argument is going to say, how many decimal places do you want it to be? In this kind of terms, I want it in pennies. So that means I need it to be round to the nearest 2 decimal places. So in this case, it's going to equal the $900, okay? So once again, that's only in terms of when you need to use it when you have cents like this 1.2114 something, right? I don't want Excel to hide that it's more than a penny or display to me that it's only 2 pennies. I want it to actually round it at 900 at the nearest penny. So I'm going to show you a quick example on the side over here. So I'm going to utilize, for example, right, let's say I had 750 and my pennies were this, right? Or my cost per item is this. If I were to just do the standard number here, right? Because I formatted Excel to show me 2 decimal places, there you go, it's 908.57. But in this context, right, because I told Excel, I want you to show me 2 decimal places. If I were to extend that, that means when I add up everything, it's going to add up as 571429. And that's not what I want. Where if I use the equal round, right? So use this same information. If I use the equal round formula on this, right? I do 750 times the 1.21429, comma, and I want it to 2 decimal places. If I press that enter, it says 908.57. But if I were to extend it, it is rounded. It stops at the 7. It doesn't continue going on. And that's what is important in this in accounting, especially when we're dealing with numbers, especially something like this, right? You cannot journalize half a penny because in real life, can you sell somebody half a penny? Can you charge somebody half a penny?
No.
No, you have to round it either up or round it down. And in this case,
The government, you can always round up. I'm joking.
yes, if it's the government, you always round up, no matter what it is, because they want their money. That's the rule of thumb there. Always round up when it comes with the government, yes. But in that context, I just wanted to show you how to utilize the equal round formula, and we will get to see it tomorrow. Okay? So again, in this sense, we just have we have an even number of pennies here. So it rounded it automatically for me without me having to punch in that formula. So here I am. I solved that. I needed 750 items out of my 1250. Okay. So now I have a total of the 5,700 items at a grand total of $7,215 even. So here that is my cost of goods sold, right? I'm just going to bring it over and self-reference it. So now, how do I solve for my ending inventory?
I took the 500 times the, what was up here, times the 120, which is the cost per item, and came up with a total of 600.
Good. You get a total of 600, yes. Yes, 600. Good. All right. The other alternative is to go ahead and take the goods available, subtract that 72.15, and you should get the same exact number. Okay. Any questions so far? Crickets. Okay, so I'm assuming that's a no. So if it's a no, then let's go ahead and wrap up this section here by completing the journal entry here. So I'm going to blow it up a little bigger so you guys can see. Okay, so this is the end of June. So June 15, right? That's what the scenario says, June 15. You should have 500 units left on hand. So my journal here is, what am I going to enter in here?
Inventory.
Correct, inventory, right? What else am I going to recognize?
Cost of goods.
Okay,
Purchase expense. Freight. Is there other word to label it as the other inventory that we had on hand?
What do you mean by that?
Didn't we have inventory coming into?
Did we have beginning inventory?
Oh, we didn't have beginning. I'm sorry, my fault. My
No
mistake.
worries. That's
My
okay.
mistake.
Don't worry about it. So in this scenario, there's no beginning inventory. Okay. We could have sold before June or before May. So in May, we just had zero inventory. So in that case, then that means I wouldn't even have inventory. I would just have a cost of goods sold. Okay. So let's look at our numbers. How much was ending inventory?
6,200.
6,200. Where did you? Okay, that's the total amount of items you have.
Oh, ending inventory?
Ending inventory, correct.
500.
500. In terms of cost, how much did it cost?
7,815.
That is your cost of goods sold. I'm talking about how much does it cost you to have those inventory left on hand? Well, okay, so what is the total value of your ending inventory? Maybe I should put it that way. $600. Yes, that's how much you have left in your inventory. That's how much it's worth because it cost you it cost you $1.20 to have. So in this case, I still have remaining $600 left in my ending inventory. Okay. So how much did I actually sell? What's the total value of the cost of goods sold?
$7,215.
Yes, 7,215. Yes.
Yeah. Come on, people, wake up.
Almost
I was
done.
answering a question with my mic muted, and I hear Felipe talking. I'm thinking, why is he talking over me?
All right, good, good. All right, yes. All right, good. As long as we're getting, I'm getting. All right.
No, I
Okay.
hate that mic button. I start talking, and then I realize after two sentences, I'm like, oh, I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah, I use the same thing because I cough a lot, and I'm like, yeah, the only way to stay quiet, I gotta click up and down.
Okay. Yes. It's okay. All right. So good that it's correct. It's the 772.15. Now, let's go ahead and calculate what was my total purchases.
6,200.
6,200. Okay, that's items. That's my quantity. 70. Which one? No, that's including freight.
Oh, 70/60.
Says so total purchases, right? Purchases. Good. And then lastly, what was your total freight?
755.
765 or yeah, 755, yes. So now I'm going to equal sum my total just to ensure that my debits match my credits. So I have 7,815 on the debit and I have 7,815 on my credit. So this is done. All right.
Can you leave it on for a second?
Yep. Okay. Good. All right. So any questions here? Okay. So there's your second example here of a LIFO, using the LIFO method. So once again, if you just think about how to cost it, right? We start from the bottom and make our way to the top with LIFO. FIFO, we start from the top and make our way down to the bottom. Okay. Tomorrow we're going to see another method, and you won't need to do any of this. Okay. All right. If you guys don't have any other questions, then you guys are free to go.